second week of the Roundup. I am Alfie, and if you're new here, I am the co-owner of this channel. I am going to be taking you to or through even Monday and Thursday of EastEnders.
Yes, and hi, I'm Jonathan. I also help run this channel, and just before we get into reviewing this week's episodes, there will be themes of talking about domestic abuse, and there will be links in the description below with some support information. And also, just get us caught up, here is a recap trailer made by yours truly. Let's get to this podcast. Enjoy this episode, and let's get to it.
And you really think that I'm not stupid? Stolen money in my own car.
Ben Mitchell. I am Detective Inspector Thompson, and I'm arresting you on suspicion of armed robbery.
Only a matter of time before this happened.
What's the charge?
Sorry, I can't get involved. Right, Thompson's handling this one.
Can't you find out?
I've got ties with the Mitchells. Well, I've got to stay away from this. You should too.
How can I, Jay?
If you value your career, you will.
Great smile. Is he someone special? Dasha, my brother, actually. He died 10 years ago. He was 5. Oh, I'm really sorry.
If Tina's new special friend can spare him, she's just good with kids.
It won't be long before you two are having your own.
You remind me of someone. Someone very special. How old are you? Boy.
1 week, you'll be buying cats.
To me!
Oh, here we go. Go on, over there, go on.
Great, let me.
Well, Dad only told me this morning.
We ain't done this in years.
What were you going to do? Send me a postcard?
Holiday begins now. Yeah, I'm gonna get the kids. My grandchildren, make up for all them rubbish.
Daddy, he's not just gonna...
How about this? How about this?
Look, Dad, look, I didn't...
I'm not
mean it.
leaving there
It's me.
without them.
Yes, everything is fine, Kira. No, Kira, listen. I changed my mind. I'm ready. I want to cash in. Look at you. Look at you. What woman would want to be with a man like you? Weak. Pathetic. You know, the only mistake I ever made was staying this long. Not speaking up and telling everyone the truth. I kept my mouth shut because I thought that's what a good wife did. I didn't want any of this to be true, so I stayed silent. I kept quiet. Not anymore. Not anymore. I am leaving. I am taking my children. I am walking out of that door, and I swear if you try and stop me, I will start screaming, and I won't stop until you're inside. Now get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Hi, it's Chantelle. Please leave a message.
Hello, baby, it's Daddy.
help. My wife... She's had an accident.
Chantelle uses the holiday that Mitch and Karen were asking if she could go on as a second chance to get away until Mia tells Gray before she leaves that they were actually going to go and leave anyway last week, and that the whole idea of it wasn't proposed just today. And then he decides to keep the kids and lie, saying that they'd much rather stay at home. Chantelle, whilst at the time being buzzed that she might actually be able to get away successfully this time, tells Kira that perhaps it's not time for a relationship yet, as she's just getting out of a toxic marriage with Gray, but when she's ready she'll let him know. Frankie and Tina get along in this episode. We find some backstory about Frankie's younger brother unfortunately dying years ago, and when Frankie meets the rest of the Carters for a drink, she finds that Ollie resembles a lot like his younger brother, and weirdly starts taking photos of them without them knowing, especially Ollie whilst they're playing football with Tina and Mick. Ben warns Phil that they must take Denny down, but Phil tells Ben just to let it go, so Ben decides to take matters into his own hands and phones Danny. So overall, Monday were pretty interesting. We have the beginning of a new storyline with Frankie, which I'm glad that she's actually starting to get some depth to her, and she isn't just in for like the deaf best friend of Ben, who again we still have not seen like anything of, even though she's literally supposed to be or have become Ben's best friend. Like literally, the character literally said, "Oh, but Ben stalled out at the last moment," but like, yeah, I don't understand that. I really don't. But I'm glad that Tina and Frankie are getting like a sort of friendship, perhaps relationship. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm quite happy that Frankie will be getting some depth. And the Chantelle thing, it's a final week, or was a final week, and God, so heartbreaking, honestly. She was so happy it was going to be a second getaway, and literally her face, she became so upset when Gray horribly and just kept the kids and pretty much lied and put words into their mouth saying that they'd rather stay at home. The whole Danny thing was very interesting and satisfying, and I assumed that that'd be the end of Danny, but I was wrong. But other than that, let's move on to Tuesday with Jonathan covering that.
So on episode 2 of this week, Chantelle's upset that the kids aren't here. Now at this point, you actually do think everything's going to go well for Chantelle. She's away from her abusive husband, and her dad is going to rescue her kids. And also at this point, the character's feeling really happy, so everything's really going to go to plan for her. We also have Ben meets up with Danny and basically tells him where there's a war the war's over between the Mitchells, and Danny tells Ben that the money's traceable. Little does he know that Jay plants the money at the back of his boot and the car, and he phones the police and gets Danny arrested. Max also, we've got some Max and stuff in this episode. Finally get Jake Good some things to do. Max finds out that Ian actually spent the money on the Queen Vic, so he's not very happy and demands that he gets it back, or else. Some more drama. We've got Kira rings Chantelle asking if she's okay, and she's changed her mind that she wants to be with Kira. Little does he know, oh my god, it's so sad that Gray slowly locked behind Chantelle in this cafe and hears everything, and then he walks out. So, sadly, when Mitch went to go collect the kids, Gray also came with them, so our plan hasn't gone well, and that left on a really sort of really sad duffed off in a way, because Chantelle feels so happy. She's ran away, she's with her family and not with Gray, and then in the next episode we find out that that our plan just goes wrong. The relationship with Chantelle and Kira at the moment in this episode was honestly just the best thing about it. I think they two just should have been together, and poor old Grey stole that away from them. With the whole Max situation, obviously we now know that Jake Wood is leaving. I, Jonathan, will make a video about that later on during the week, but hopefully this gives Jake Wood something to do, because recently Jake Wood's Max has sort of just been pushed aside and not really done anything. So that's that. We've got some Balaam stuff in this episode as well, which is really good, but at the moment I'm feeling sort of, oh my god, can they not just be happy? Because I know Alfie, tell me if you agree with me, but like one episode they're like, I promise I will not lie to you, I love you, and then the next episode they lie and something comes in between them, and I just want them to be happy. But that's it, Albert Square, that's what it does to you. So that was episode 2 of this week on EastEnders.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, now we'll be going on to Thursday. What an episode to unpack. So, here we go. Ben gets taken into questioning because of with the police knowing that he's certainly involved in the heist, especially as Danny writes a statement about it, with PC Thompson at the end essentially blackmailing Callum, who he's now found out about the relationship between the two, with his job, and Ben pretty much saying that if he doesn't catch Phil, then say goodbye to his job and say goodbye to Ben, which were, quite an interesting plot. Gray finds out everything about what Chantelle has been plotting when he overhears a phone call between her and Kira, and changes the code of the house alarm in order so when Kira can accidentally set it off when sneaking in to grab some of Chantelle's sentimentals, he has a reason to head home. The final scene was so eerie and heartbreaking. Like, I love how they brilliantly had them watching like it was some kind of horror film, and like how the woman was trying to escape the monster behind her, sort of implying Gray and Chantelle. I just really like that. Some brilliant metaphorical stuff that EastEnders likes to do now and again. I really like that. As a media person myself, it was just quite interesting. And literally the last scene where she's saying bye mum, bye dad, although we do get a phone call, which Jonathan will talk later on, from Mitch to Chantelle, it's just heartbreaking that it's pretty much their last on-screen scenes between the three, and I'm so happy that like they've left. Chantelle and Mitch have managed to fix this feud, I guess, that they had when she first came in the show, and they were so close to each other. Literally, it was just so heartbreaking. So overall, Thursday was a very big episode. The Martin, Ruby, Kush, and Stuart and Rainey plots I didn't really talk much on, as essentially it was more of a Balaam story and the Atkins and Taylor's story. So essentially it was just bouncing back between the two, which, it were alright, but like what Jonathan said, I think it was last week, the 20-minute format tends to focus more on a couple of characters than it normally does. Like, it normally focuses on quite a lot, but it were an interesting and heartbreaking episode. So now let's take it to Friday with Jonathan.
I'll flaming well kill ya! You did it for me! You take back what you said, you bitch! You cow!
Hello, this is the last episode, Friday's episode. Now, just before I get into actually talking about the subject, domestic abuse cannot go on any longer, and EastEnders doing the storyline is one of the best storylines they've done in a long time. In this episode, we saw Gray force the kids and Chantelle back to the house. Obviously, Chantelle in the last episode tried to get Kirat to go into the house and grab a memory box, but Gray's found out and changed the alarm code, so the alarms went off and they've gone back home thinking there's been a break-in. After Gray and Chantelle put the kids to bed, Gray is starting to lose his patience a bit more. They get into a heated argument, and after trying to sort of calm Gray down, I think Chantelle just sort of has enough, tries to run out the door, tries to grab everything that she can, but after a heated argument, Chantelle just lets out her inner Taylor, shouting at him, and just reveals that he's leaving. She's leaving, she's taking the kids, but then Gray pushes her onto the dishwasher. In previous scenes we saw Chantelle unloading the dishwasher, and it was sort of hinted at, and as well in January we saw Gray say something about the dishwasher, so it was hinted at, we just never really know it. So sadly, Gray pushes Chantelle onto the dishwasher, and a knife was sort of sticking up, and she is stabbed in the back, and then obviously what happens to her, which is awful. And I think at this moment when I was watching the episode, it felt so sad and just gutted that Chantelle was leaving, what happened to her. But recently, Mitch and Chantelle just come back together because Chantelle doesn't care. I think over this, with everything with Gray, she just doesn't care with what her dad's done. So she just, there's a scene in Thursday's episode where she saw him sort of hugging Mitch, and it was beautifully shot. Like, I don't know how they, like, I know how they did that now. Like, the direction in these episodes have honestly been amazing. They put so much hard time and effort, and, you know, I'm gonna give a little clap. It might sound weird, but well done, EastEnders, you did me proud. You know, I love direction and stuff, and you did me proud. This episode, I need to say, let me put my notes down. This episode was just, I think the reason why this episode worked so well, the direction and the writing by the writer Sam Ashton, I think his name is. I haven't realised this. I don't really keep up with the writers of EastEnders, but he's actually brought us so many great episodes. I'm pretty sure he's done the Max and Stacey's affair reveal on Christmas, the Little Mo and Trevor's domestic abuse climax episode. I think he done that as well. Final of this week. So this week on EastEnders was fantastic. I've got notes of some of the other week was quite sort of slow, but then with the Chantelle domestic abuse storyline, sort of picked up. I think Jessica Plummer will always be remembered so highly as Chantelle, and from me and Alfie, we just wish her good luck for the future and what she gets done. So, thank you for listening to this podcast, and me and Alfie will see you next week. See you later.